Hey, everybody. This is the Scary Movie Project, the first episode. I am Tara.
And I am Matt. From the director of Animal House comes a different kind of animal. Two American college students on a walking tour of Britain are attacked by a werewolf that none of the locals will admit exists. So, of course, that means we're talking about An American Werewolf in London.
That's right. And so John Landis came up with the story idea when he was working as a PA on a film in Yugoslavia and saw a group of gypsies, more than one, performing rituals on a man being buried so he wouldn't rise from the grave, which is so cool and creepy.
So having traveled to Eastern Europe, to like Romania, that is the real deal. Like, people believe in that stuff. That is no joke there. There are people that still, as recently as 10 years ago, that were dying and they were digging these people up because they were trying to then cut out their hearts and do stuff like them so they wouldn't come back from the dead. It's legit. Yeah, they really believe
okay,
that
Matt,
stuff.
I'm sorry, but for some of us, that's the real deal here, okay?
Yeah. Well, might be the real deal in general, but that is, yeah, I mean, they really believe that stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so let's see. The script sat on the shelves for about 10 years, I think, while he made his name as a director in Hollywood before he got financing for it. And apparently his financiers thought it was too scary to be a comedy and too funny to be a horror film.
It's definitely funny.
It's really funny.
And that's what's so great about it.
Ridiculously funny.
Right.
And then there are parts that are, I mean, still to this day, I think kind of scary. Like
that's what makes it so great is the perfect mix. It's the perfect mix of the scary for a nice bit of time, and then you relieve with a little bit of comedy, and it works out perfectly. It's done. So I remember the first time I saw it, I thought, well, this is really funny, but this is pretty scary too.
Yeah, and I think some of that at least is from the makeup, right? The effects makeup by Rick Baker,
yeah, it's incredible.
Who is of course amazing, and this was what he won his first and the first ever Best Makeup Oscar for, which is so cool.
Oh yeah,
and
it's the greatest werewolf transformation scene ever. We'll get to that later, but yeah, it is
definitely still holds up. Did you know all the other things that he has done makeup for?
Rick Baker? Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, he's done a million movies. I mean, you name the film, and I'm sure he's probably attached to it.
So a few, Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, okay, wow.
Right, that's apparently like his favorite.
Okay, all right.
He did not do Gremlins, but he did Gremlins 2.
Okay. Harry and the Hendersons movie or the TV show?
The movie.
I used to watch the TV show, I think, when I was a kid. I think it was on for like one season. It was terrible.
It was the movie, I'm pretty sure. And then he also did The Ring, which is...
Oh, the movie?
So scary. Yeah, like I think he did The Ring and The Ring 2.
Okay.
And he did Michael Jackson as a werewolf in Thriller.
He did Thriller, didn't he? I was going to say. Yep,
he did Thriller.
Yeah, Thriller is the greatest music video of all time. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good music video.
Oh,
and the werewolf is great in that too.
It's the best. I mean, it is hands down the best music video ever made. Yeah.
Oh my God,
there's no argument on that.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yep, it's amazing.
Classic. What else did I find? Oh, the other thing I found out about it, which as a musical theater nerd, for anyone of our 5 listeners out there who is also a musical theater nerd, I was so excited because the original music I saw was by Elmer Bernstein. And I was like, wait, is this guy related to Leonard Bernstein? No. His is pronounced Bernstein. They're not related. They were friends.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
He wrote the incidental score for the movie adaptation of the musical Thoroughly Modern Millie and won an Oscar for that. So that's my little music theater connection.
I like it. Okay, good. Good. All right, so we can ramble forever and ever. Should we just get into a quick?
Let's just go into it.
All right, so you got what? 2 college kids backpacking on the moors through Europe, right? And they wind up in England on the moors, and they get lost.
Northern England.
Yep, they get lost. Of course, they find themselves into a little pub.
So first they're hitching a ride. Okay, so the sheep farmer.
Go ahead.
We got to talk about the sheep, right? Because they hitch a ride with a sheep farmer,
and then ride with the sheep. That's right.
There's sheep freaking everywhere in the beginning of the movie, which I think is so great since they're all, since he's about to be a werewolf.
And I also love the opening score, and is Blue Moon, right? correct?
Yes, the opening song is Blue Moon, and there's a lot of moon songs in it.
That was the point, exactly. As many movies as they could to make, CCR, Bad Moon Rising. Yeah, excellent. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Bad Moon Rising. Oh, that was like so good. Okay, we're not there yet, but that was so good.
We can mention it.
But yeah, so then they end up at the pub.
The Slaughtered Lamb.
Mm-hmm. Which maybe it's my background, but I love those stereotypical Northern Brits in the pub.
Oh, I want to go there every day.
Oh my God, I love them. I have such love in my heart for the little like grouchy Brits who don't want to tell their secrets to the Americans.
The best part of that scene when they're in there is, one guy telling them we don't have any food here, and they're playing darts. And he tells a joke about the Alamo, and everyone's laughing. And his buddy just all of a sudden goes, "What's that 5-pointed star on the wall?" And everyone just shuts up. And it's just silent.
Love it. They're all like clamped down.
And the guy missing, you made me miss. And he's all pissed off at him. Yeah, exactly.
I've never missed before.
Right. And they're like, okay, yeah, it's time to go now.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah. And then, of course, because they know what's going on, the woman who's behind the bar is like, "Are you really going to let him leave?" And they're like, "Nah."
And what's the last thing he tells them? Stick to the road, beware the Moors, right?
Stick to the road. And of course, what's the very next thing they do?
They're getting rained on, and he looks up and they go, "Stick to the road." Uh-oh. And they're just in the middle of a field at that point, right?
They've just immediately wandered off the road. It was literally within like 30 steps. They were already off the road.
There aren't a lot of places around there, so that could easily happen, I'm sure.
Yep.
So yeah, they get lost and they end up out there, and what's his face? So it's David Kessler and buddy's name is Jack, right? Isn't that his name?
David and Jack. Yep.
Right. And so Jack gets attacked, and I don't know. Do you actually see that it's you see it's something attacks him right away?
You see that he's being attacked and like savaged, and then I love David because this is so real. David runs the fuck away.
And then he stops.
And he's like,
he has that look on his face, and he's like, "Oh wait," and wait, my friend's getting ripped apart by a werewolf. Hold on, I have
wait, Jack, and then he runs back.
I should probably go back.
It's so real. It's so real. Because nobody just immediately is like, "I'm the hero. I'm gonna save my friend. I'm gonna try and save him." You're like, shit, and you run. Then you're like, "Oh wait, oh crap, my friend. Let me go back."
Fairly certain if you were being attacked by something, I would probably turn around and run. So
yeah, pretty sure you would be on your own. Sorry.
Yep. That's a safe bet.
It would be a race for whichever one of us is faster.
Yeah, probably. So he can't do anything for him, of course, right? And yeah, exactly. He gets cut at the same time, and then the classic. For those that have listened to my werewolf podcast recently, which is amazing, and you should listen to it. At the end, the thing you'll notice that we always talk about in there is this is a classic line. They come, the guys from the pub come and shoot the werewolf. And of course, when David looks over after he kind of passes out, what does he see? He doesn't see a werewolf. He sees a man.
He sees a man. That's right.
They always say when they shoot the werewolf, it always then takes the form back of the human that it was, but it has like the bullet wound or whatever from it.
I'm not gonna lie. The very first time I saw this, it took me a minute to be like, "Oh wait, no! Oh, that's the werewolf. Okay." Yep. It really took me a second.
Yeah, that's a classic line. Whenever they throughout history, they say that when they see a beast roaming and someone shoots it, the next day or whatever, they'll see someone from the village, the human, but they'll have like a bullet wound in them, or they'll have something from them. So
you turn back into a human when you get killed.
So that happened fast to that guy. But anyway, so that was cool. They kept that part. He gets sent to the hospital, of course. He wakes up. He gets better. He leaves.
Oh, wait, the hospital. No. There is this nurse, the saucy nurse.
Yes.
She turns out to be like the friend who's in a couple scenes, but she's checked out his package while he was in a coma.
Yes. And that's where that great
caught by the doctor. I love it.
That's where that great comedy in that movie is. And remember that one doctor that comes in who's just so random? And he's supposed to be like a specialist. Please, Mr. Kessler, I understand your...
Oh no, he's not the doctor. He's the
the policeman. He's a cop.
No. He's the
What is
guy
he?
from the embassy.
Oh, right,
He's
right,
from the
right.
American embassy.
He reminds
is
me of that.
useless.
He reminds me of that guy from what was that TV show, Mr. Show with Bob and David, that comedian? I forget.
Yes, Mr. Show.
That's who he reminds me of. Please, Mr. Kessler, I understand that you're very upset. Yeah, that guy was great.
You're right. He kind of does, but he's completely useless.
Well,
like,
he's great for the audience because he's hilarious.
oh, sure, but
Right.
useless to David.
Oh, yeah.
No help.
Yeah. So,
And then before he gets out of the hospital, his friend Jack, dun 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 dun,
oh man, when
visits
he keeps,
him.
his buddy that keeps coming back deader each time is so great.
And that first one in particular, when we first see him, that is some of the
because
best.
he's still wet.
Gory makeup.
Because he's still wet. He's still like
it's
oozing
so
his jacket.
good.
His jacket's all bloody, and he's still like a fresh kill. I know. It's amazing.
It's so good. And he spends a lot of the movie in the hospital. Like, I forgot that. I forgot how long he's in the dang hospital.
So I love the scene. That must have been in the hospital too, right? Where he has the dream, where he's running through the woods. Is that in the hospital, right?
Is that the first dream? He has dreams in the hospital.
He has one
Yeah.
where he is running naked through the woods and he attacks a deer. And then he wakes up and he's got like the fangs and he has that quick, like scary face. And then there's that other bizarre dream where the Nazi werewolves come to his family's house and shoot everybody.
Yeah, I think those are both in the hospital.
Okay.
Our audience, our five audience members will correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I think they were. Maybe one was at the, I don't remember, but I think they were.
But I think those are both in the hospital. But yeah, when his friend comes to visit him, it's, and he's so funny, the guy who plays Jack. Like, he's just got such great delivery. I love him.
Griffin Dunn.
Griffin Dunn. Is that the actor's name?
That is his name, yes.
You know, I looked up all this stuff. I didn't look up who the actors were.
Yeah, Griffin Dunn and is it David Naughton, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. No, they're great. I mean, their careers were not, I wouldn't say blockbuster afterward, but that doesn't matter. We don't care about that. But yeah, he has those crazy dreams where the Nazi werewolves come to his family's house and shoot everybody. That was weird. I know that means something, but I'm not sure what it means.
And of course, the other thing that happens, well, I think, and this is something that also I found, I think it's to do with he's Jewish. And someone actually says that like once. I think it's in the pub. Someone says, oh, he's a Jew. And apparently this movie was worked as a metaphor for the alienation of being an American Jew in Europe.
Okay.
And so Landis is Jewish, John Landis, who made it. So I could see that being the case.
Okay. I'm down with that.
That's like something he was sort of working out in the movie.
No, that's cool.
So I think that might be why there would be Nazis there in his dream.
Nazi werewolves.
And then, of course, Nazi werewolves are pretty awesome. And there's werewolf was a Nazi like operation, like one of their secret operations, I think.
You should watch the Rob Zombie phony trailer for Werewolf Women of the SS. If you like to see zombie werewolves.
I have not seen that. All right, I'm going to have to watch that.
Werewolves. Yep.
All right, everybody, we're all going to have to watch that.
Oh, it's amazing. It's great.
So the other thing that happens while he's still in the hospital is he meets Alex, the pretty nurse.
Yep. That's right. And then he leaves and he goes back and stays at her place, right?
Yep, he goes and he stays with her.
Yep. And then he kind of just does nothing for a while. And
so, dude, that whole day while the morning after they do it and they have the like unnecessarily long, like almost kind of gets to the point where it's boring sex scene.
Right.
Because it's like so 80s. It's like so like, and then the camera is here and you will kiss her stomach, and
so softly,
it's so like lame. I don't know, it's just so not raw at all.
No.
But then the next morning, but then the next morning she goes to work, and all I could think of while I was watching the montage of him being bored waiting for her to get home was, oh my God, this is all of us during social distancing for COVID-19. Like, I was like, this is all of us right now.
That is a good, that's a good analogy for it there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I literally was watching the thing like, funny. This is me. I bet this is everybody.
Yeah. You didn't have anything to do. Right. That was funny.
No.
And then of course his buddy shows up again. The second time when he shows up at the is it a movie theater or does he go to see a porno? He goes to see a porno,
that's
right?
the movie theater's the last time. So he shows up again, but remember what I forgot is even the first time, what he's telling Alex is, you are a werewolf.
You got to kill yourself.
The first time is in the hospital. He's saying in 2 days is the full moon. You're going to, like tomorrow's the full moon, you're going to get it. The second time is at her house while he's waiting for her to come home from work. And he's saying, you're going to become a werewolf tonight. And you're going to kill people. And you have to die, or everybody who you kill, or everybody who is killed by the other werewolf, like me, will wander the earth forever and just keep decaying and be undead.
And I love when he explains to him that he needs to do something, and David said, what am I supposed to do? And the way he just delivers it, suicide.
Suicide, yeah. So then, of course, what's the next thing that happens? It's that evening, and...
transformation scene?
Transformation!
So, you look at like Wolfman. So we talked about this when I did my werewolf podcast too. We talk about, the like Wolfman movie, great movie, Lon Chaney, with just the stop motion and everything, But this, there are no cuts. There are no, transitions. This all happens in a well-lit room, the way they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so... And honestly,
there are one or two cuts.
Okay, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Where he gets a little more, yeah.
But it's not done fooling you with trick. I mean, with that kind of stuff. So
no, the claw coming out from under his nail, it makes me shudder every time.
So, and it was actually incredibly simple. They just use like pneumatic plungers and stuff like that. And they would either make things bigger with hair, or what they would do is they'd shoot it like in reverse. And they'd pray things backwards. He has a. I'm using my hand so like you can see me, of course, which everyone can't. But
it's a podcast; they can't see you.
His head or his body is underneath a platform, and all his showing is his head, and he's laying back, and they're building a fake body on top of that platform. So his real head is in there, and they got a fake body that they're able to animate. They're moving it; it's animated. They can do things with it. So that's how they did a lot of this stuff. Honestly, this was not crazy CGI stuff. This was just practical, simple tools.
Practical effects. Yeah. I love practical effects. Like
plungers,
to this day,
like syringes to make hair shoot out through fake hands, and vice versa. And reverse photography and things like that.
And I know that SFX, like special effects with doing it in editing later, all that stuff, like all the virtual effects, they get better and better, but still for me, those practical effects are
if you guys out there like practical effects, we'll need to talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula one day, because one of the things that makes that movie famous is the fact that all of its effects are all practical effects.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need to talk about that at some point anyways.
But that's later down. That's what they call a teaser. So.
Yeah, that's going to be on our list at some point.
Yeah.
We have a lot on our list already, though, so...
Yeah, but honestly, but that scene is great. I mean, yeah, and it's all done with just the practical stuff. And for the time, no one had ever seen it. And quite frankly, 1981, 82? Is that when it was made?
One
of those years. So it's basically almost 40 years old at this point. And it's still amazing. It's still amazing. Because if you watch, and I haven't seen those Underworld movies, but do they do any transformation scenes? I guarantee you they're all special effects, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't remember.
No,
I don't remember the Underworld.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. So
we've always called them Underwear World because she wears so little clothing.
I don't know. I think they're decent. I mean, I've heard good things about some of them. I just never seen them. But anyway, different.
I've only seen the first one, I think, years ago.
Different topic. So yeah,
different movie.
That scene is unbelievable. And what's kind of interesting is the scene is so much better than the actual fake I don't know how you feel about the actual werewolf itself. I thought it was kind of lame, but it does the job. You don't see it very often though throughout the movie.
No, they do a good job of bits and pieces, I think.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but it was okay.
So we get the transformation, which, as you can tell, we both absolutely love.
It was amazing.
And of course, he goes out and ends up killing 4 or 5 people.
Is that when he kills
like,
the husband and wife?
Yeah, he kills like 4 or 5 people all in one night.
Yeah, why not?
Like this all only takes place like once he gets out of the hospital. Like he's in the hospital in a coma for like 3 weeks, but once he gets out of the hospital, this all only takes place in like 2 days or something.
It seems like it's like a week or a month, though, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it seems like longer, but it's literally like 2 days. So that first night, he kills like 5 people.
Yeah.
And then the next day, of course, he's freaking out. The doctor has been talking. He hasn't come home. The doctor is
that
talking
where he wakes
to
up?
Alex about it.
Is this where he wakes up at the zoo?
Yes, that's when he wakes up in the zoo.
That is so amazing. And then
he wakes up in the cage with the wolves.
Naked, and then he has to get out of the zoo, and he steals that woman's coat and the balloons.
Well, first he steals the kid's balloons, but I love it.
Yes.
He said, come here from inside the bush. And the kid is being very, he's doing what a kid is supposed to do, not talk to strangers and not get too close. The kid finally, he lures him closer, telling him he'll give him 20 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is. And the kid goes in and he goes, who are you? And he says, I'm the famous balloon thief. And he's like, well, what does that mean? Why would a balloon thief want to pay me for my balloons? And he goes, come closer and I'll tell you. Snatch it. He grabs the balloons and runs off.
And he has him just sitting down there at his privates, and he's just running through the zoo with them. And he's in these random, like, different shots in these places. And then he finds that old lady's coat or something, doesn't he, eventually?
Yeah, her coat with the fur collar on it.
And then he's standing in line at one point with some people, and he's going, nice weather we're having, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. He's waiting for the bus to
bus,
get home.
That's right, the bus.
Which means he rides the bus back. I say home, but back to Alex's place. He rides the bus that whole way that way.
And that whole, like, 5-minute scene is, like, the perfect comedy relief. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
And, of course, in the middle of all this, Alex and the doctor are worried about him. And the doctor is like, well, I think that, he might be crazy, and he might be thinking that he's gonna turn into a werewolf and he could hurt himself. And little do they know, he's already killed like 5 people.
Yeah. Already done.
So yeah, a little too late. So then Alex wants to take him to the doctor when he finally gets home. Right. They're gonna take him to the doctor. The doctor's gonna help him, and he just is like, no, like, I'm a werewolf, I'd kill people. And they stop.
That's what I do.
Stops the car. Yeah, it's like, this is it. I killed people. He stops, he jumps out of the car, and she's running
Circus,
after him.
Right?
No, Piccadilly Circus is later.
Right. I know the end of it.
This is when he jumps out. I don't think this is Piccadilly Circus.
Oh yeah, he jumps out and he stands on that one statue.
Jumps out and he's trying to get the
he's trying to get arrested. He's standing on that statue and he's like, I'm a werewolf and I killed. Yeah.
I'm a werewolf. I kill people. Why won't you arrest me? I killed those people last night. And the cop's like, yeah, shove off.
Right. That's great.
And he goes, what does he say? The queen's of this, the princess of Tulsa. Like, he's
you're right. Starts making fun of it. Yes, everything British.
Yelling all these nasty words. Which I will spare your ears. I already dropped the F-bomb once. That's probably enough for one podcast
they
episode.
Can watch the movie and see it's okay.
But he's yelling all this stuff. Yeah, it's so good. And then I think, that's when he tells her, she comes after him. And he tells
David,
her,
I love you. She says, I love you. Yeah.
He says, I love you. Stay away from me.
Right. Stay away.
And then just runs off.
Because he knows what's going on. And he's like, yeah, you can't be around me. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because he seems crazy, but at the same time, you're like, but he's right.
Yes.
Like, everybody else just doesn't know what's going on.
That's
and he's completely right.
That's right.
So yeah, it's just great. And so he runs off and he changes again. Is there anything before he changes again?
What about when he goes to the movie, or does he go to the porno, or does he go to the movie theater?
That's right. He changes in the movie theater. That's right. Because first he goes to the porno movie trying to like get away from people because Jack has come back to talk to him and he doesn't want to talk to him in the middle of the street.
Jack is like almost dead at this point. So that scene is great because his buddy, he's like almost like a skeleton at this point. That's the great thing.
Yeah, it's a puppet at that point.
He's more and more dead every time we see him, which is really great. The makeup is fantastic. And while he's in the theater, the people he killed have come back from the dead to all kind of have this like intervention.
Jack's introducing him.
Right. It's kind of like a like a werewolf intervention in a way.
Dude, it's one of my favorite. It might be my favorite part in the movie when they're all spitballing on like how he should kill himself.
And car crash.
Yeah, a car crash. Oh, you could hang yourself.
No, it'd be too messy. Break his neck. It would take forever to die. You don't want to do that.
It would take forever. That would be terrible.
Right.
Pills. No,
Cyanide.
that might not work.
Oh yeah, no.
Just a gun. You'll just have to do it with a gun.
The lady's the best because she's all bloody in the face. A car crash. I love it. And then they're all. One of my favorite lines in that too in the whole movie is when they're talking to that one guy, the guy that he killed in the subway. Remember him when he's chasing him down the subway system? With that steady cam shot was great. I think it was that guy, and he's asking him, "Why are you all here? What do you all want? I didn't do anything, whatever." And that one guy just says to him, "We're here because of your carnivorous lunar activities." I love it.
So good.
And
even the little like bit parts are so great in this. They're so funny.
Yeah, if that thing and that scene was scary when the guy's being chased because it's the POV of the werewolf shot where he's chasing the guy.
And
that was
great. He's not going to get away, but he almost like you keep seeing him like almost get away, and you're like, you're so close.
No, you're dead. So yeah, that was so funny. We was with all of them.
That was so good. And then he turns in the
and then he runs
theater.
out and then to pick the Piccadilly.
Well, first he kills people in the theater.
Well, yes, of course.
First he's got to kill more people.
Right. And the Piccadilly Circus scene, they had to shoot that like for real. They could not close traffic, and they basically had to make it work on.
Apparently
2 takes?
They did it.
I think they had 2 chances. They had 2 chances to do this.
But they did it between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. or something.
Right. It was much later.
And they could only stop traffic a couple times for like 2 minutes at a time.
They basically had two goes at this. Right.
Yeah.
It was so well choreographed though. The cars crashing perfectly. The guy
all
flying.
the cars crashing into each other. So he's running around and people are screaming and running.
That is a level of choreography that I don't know that I could ever put together something like that. You need a team of 50, 100 people to pull something like that off.
And a lot of stunt actors.
And just good luck. A lot of it too.
A lot of good stunt actors for that.
Yeah, and it was great that it worked out perfectly. I mean, you're watching and you're thinking it's 8:00 at night, and it's just it's a great scene. And he just running. The wolf is just running through the road. And then he finally gets caught in that alley, and she comes back and tells him she's sorry and she loves him or whatever, and they finally just open fire on him. And
but I love, so there's a moment where he's snarling and growling at her, and she gets in front of everybody and she gets out there alone, and she says, David, I love you, and the wolf gets this little like sweet look for a second where he's like,
and then
you just get this little look,
and then it's like,
and then he goes, rawr, and then they shoot him. Then they shoot him dead.
That's right. He like lunges out at them, doesn't he? That's right.
He lunges, and like I've always wondered if he lunges to get them to shoot him, like if that was his like moment, like so
please kill me, right?
I don't know if it's a theory because I don't know if it's actually what Landis meant to put in the movie, but I see in this movie, I see the grieving process go, like him going through the 5 stages of the grieving process. So he finds out he's a werewolf and he's got to die, right? Jack comes and tells him that, right? So first he goes through denial where he's like, no, and he doesn't believe it. That like whole first day, pretty much, he doesn't really believe it. Then there's the anger phase. Okay. And this is silly, but the anger phase, I think, is that first night when he turns into a werewolf and kills people. Sure. That's anger, right? That's angry.
Okay.
That's violent and angry. And then bargaining, where he tries to go to the doctor and then thinks, well, maybe if I just go to the police, right? If he can get himself locked up, maybe he doesn't have to die and he won't kill any more people. So that's the bargaining phase. And then I think he's going through depression when they're all spitballing about how he should kill himself in the theater.
That's, and I never.
He's finally sort of like accepting and like being depressed. And then I think that little look that he gives when he's a wolf at the end is his acceptance, which is why I think that he lunges. I don't think he lunges because the animal is too strong for him. I think he lunges so they will shoot him.
Sort of like at the end.
That's my theory.
sort of like at the end of The Fly when he grabs the dude's shotgun and points it at his head, like, "Please end this right now," kind of thing. Yeah. That's interesting. I never looked at it that way. That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah, I had never until I watched it this time, and then I was like, kind of seeing like all the stages there.
Okay, I like it.
Have no idea if he meant that to be the case. Probably did not.
Or subconsciously did it and didn't even know about it, right? So could
yeah,
be that too.
Yeah, either. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So yeah, overall, I mean, yeah, it's a great. I mean, we were talking about this on our werewolf podcast about, best werewolf movies ever. I mean, you have to maybe put that at the top of the list. It's pretty damn good.
This is up there, for sure.
It's pretty good.
I'm trying to think what I think is better.
I mean, we don't have to debate that, right? I mean, we don't have to go through that, but I think that.
But it's a good one. It's up there for sure.
I think it's excellent. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, cool stuff about it. I mean, it's definitely spooky. It's definitely well done. I love, some of the tropes about it, which are great. The way they were able to shoot it out there in the country. Oh, so if you like it a lot, you should go watch. Actually, I have it on my DVD because I have like the collector edition deal. It's a documentary called Beware the Moon. And it's all about how they made the movie. And they went to the places where they shot it out on the moors out in Scotland. Or was it in Scotland or was it in England? I don't know where they shot. I think it was in England.
I know that it took place in the movie in Northern England, but I don't know if that's where they shot it.
But I think it actually is. So they do all that stuff. It's a great documentary. It's really, really good. You should watch that if you get a chance to.
Sweet. I have not seen that one.
I thought that was
So again, really and our 5-person audience will have to go look for that and watch it.
All right. So if you can't get enough of it, you can do what I did, which I urge you to do. Well, when you can, of course. So remember the name of the pub is the Slaughtered Lamb they go to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's real, sort of. It is, they have a pub in New York City, Greenwich Village, called the Slaughtered Lamb. And it is completely themed from the movie. Like you go in there, it is dark as could possibly. They have a fireplace you can sit by. Posters from the movie are all over the wall.
Darts? Do they have darts?
Oh, yeah. They have a dungeon you can go into. And they have these giant ornate, for lack of a better word, taxidermy, old like figures of like a werewolf chasing a woman, and they have them like under glass. So like these pieces of art. And the place is crazy.
Oh, sweet.
It is one of the cool places I've been to. I had like a ton of chicken wings there, which were really good. I mean, it's a dive, of course. But if you just want to go somewhere that's like a movie-themed place and eat wings and just do nothing, I would suggest you go there. I thought it was awesome.
So the star, I was trying to find out, like, is the star actually something that's like related to werewolves in folklore? I didn't see it in folklore, but I think was it the Lon Chaney werewolf movie?
Okay.
I think that they did something in that where he sees the star on the hands of his future victims or something. So we may have to watch that movie at some point just to see. Yeah.
When he sees the pentagram in his hand, you mean?
Yeah, he sees the pentagram, the 5-pointed star.
Yep.
So I think that may have been a nod to that movie.
Yeah, and that's what's great is he put in all those ancient literary and classic, mythological and folklore references in there and stuff. Yeah, that was great. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, I mean,
totally.
I have discussed going to England in like a year or two. And if I got to look up the map and find out, but if I'm near where one of those places is, I'm definitely going to one of those places. I mean, that's one of my list of things wherever I go is what was scary that was done here when I'm visiting. Can I go see this? So
totally. And you'll have to bring us back pictures then.
Oh, there will be many a photo. Yeah.
Or if I get to go first, I will.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm sure. What else can we talk about that movie? The fact that it's just really, really good.
Just really great.
Oh, so here you go. Here's one thing that's funny about John Landis, maybe just in general, is remember you'd keep seeing that sign or you'd hear it in the movie theater, see you next Wednesday, or is it see you next Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
He's like famous for putting that line into all his movies. See you next Wednesday. Or maybe it's either see you next Wednesday or see you next Tuesday. And he managed to slip that line into like all his movies apparently.
That's awesome.
So, and of course he had it in that one.
I love directors who do that stuff.
I think he was on a billboard or something he had in the movie. Yeah, I mean, I think it was.
You know what it was in? I know what it was. I remember now because I remember it was an ad, a sign, poster, or whatever in the
movie theater.
In the underground.
Yeah,
for the movie theater.
That's it.
It was for the porn theater.
Yes. Isn't it interesting? Two
cool.
great movies I'm thinking of that have porn movies in them. Actually, I think it might be 3 movies. Let's see. Werewolf, Taxi Driver, and I think The Departed, they're in a porno at one point, aren't they? In a porno movie theater at one point?
I don't remember.
Way off topic, sorry.
Yeah, off topic a little bit, but that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, no, I remember the first time I saw it, I think I saw it on like AMC probably or something around Halloween, and I thought, this movie is great. Like, this is so good.
We should also give a nod to the porno that is playing in the porno theater during this movie.
The music is so great.
The music is great, but the things that are happening in it are so ridiculous. Like, they're having sex, and the guy walks in and is like, what are you doing with him? And she's like, I've never seen you before. And he's like, oh, sorry, and just walks out.
You know what, though? That's the genius of a good director, by putting that much thought into that background element to make that so good. You know what I mean? Like, that was great. That was so well done.
Oh my God, it was so ridiculous. It was fantastic.
I love that.
So I think that's it, guys. That is An American Werewolf in London.
I never saw the sequel.
I saw the sequel. I saw An American Werewolf in Paris. All I really remember about it is that there's a girl werewolf and it was dorky.
Enough said.
That's like all I really remember. So we may not be doing that one on this podcast, but we'll see. Maybe at some point we'll get desperate.
Yeah. We'll see. People listen to anything. No, well, just kidding. So one thing I thought that was interesting though is it's so good, but I mean, this I'm trying to say this is not a knock. This is not insulting anyone, but the cast in that movie. I mean, what else have they been in though, right? Like that was kind of it for them. I mean, I'm straining myself right now to think of where else I've seen any of them any of the cast in that movie in. Isn't that interesting? A movie that good that really you never heard from these folks again.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'm just not aware of what they've been in, but I feel like I really. What did I see David Naughton? I saw him in something is popping in my head now, but I'm blanking on it now. I know they come to the Monster Manias sometimes, but I do not know. Maybe we could look up something. Yeah, but that was interesting. I mean, that cast kind of just. I mean, it's not a big cast. Oh, I know one guy though. The guy at the pub, the bald dude who's telling the story about the Alamo joke.
Yeah.
That guy's in lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He was
I definitely recognize him.
First thing that comes to mind, I know he's in Alien 3, but he is in a bunch of movies. I think he's probably no longer with us. But that guy is in a bunch of stuff. I've seen him in other stuff too. But other than that, yeah, interesting. I just thought that was an interesting little nugget maybe of information.
Yeah, I think he's the one who looked kind of familiar to me.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's a great movie, and I love all the references to the different Moon songs. Definitely there's one of those deals where it's like when I listen to Mr. Sandman, I can't listen to that song because I think of Halloween 2 and it freaks me out. And when I hear Blue Moon now, I think of Werewolf and I'm like, oh man.
That is that song, Time is on my side.
Is that in there too?
Yes, it is. Okay. No, that is from Fallen.
Oh, great movie.
So scary.
Yeah, great movie.
Every time they jump. Okay, well, we can't talk about that movie. We'll talk about that movie another time.
I know, yeah, but I know exactly.
No spoilers.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yep.
We'll talk about that movie another time, y'all.
No, I mean, John Landis, obviously, he's well respected. He's done a lot of work, but I mean, he really did a great job with this. I mean, to be able to make something scary, to take basically a ridiculous idea, which, no offense to everyone that loves this stuff as much as I do, but a movie about a werewolf, right? Make it believable and make it funny. And make it smart, I mean, he did a great job.
And you could tell that that he was in love with this movie.
Oh yeah, this was his thing. Yeah, exactly.
Like this was his baby. You could tell. You could totally tell.
No, absolutely. He loved it, and that was really cool that he was able to make this.
So guys, we got a request for you before we go. Please rate and review us in whatever podcast, iTunes or whatever podcast server you listen on. That would be really helpful to us. If you liked it, please rate and review.
And are we also taking suggestions for future episodes?
We are so taking suggestions.
Okay.
You can email us at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com if you have ideas for us or want to share your cool stories about horror movies.
We love to hear
you have
great stories.
We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you guys so much for joining us.
I'll say one last thing.
Matt's got one more thing to say.
Speaking of moons and things like that for werewolves, I'm just preparing you all, the people that love Halloween as much as we do. This year, by the way, I just found out, it's a Saturday for one, which is amazing, is going to be a blue moon that night. So get ready. So
not only a full moon, but a blue moon.
Be prepared for that. So anyway,
that's awesome.
That's how to end a werewolf podcast right there.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll have to decide what movie we do for Halloween this year, but I'm sure we'll have a good one for you. And we will see you next time.
All right, out. See ya.
See ya.